Welcome back to the corner, everyone. I am the Demon as always, and today, damn, it feels good to be right. I'm just saying, it feels damn good to be right. And Drazarus, you should feel damn good about yourself. So he put this video out about 30 minutes ago. I just finished watching it. I just woke up. I had my first cup of coffee this morning. And let me fucking tell you, everything that you thought needed to be fixed, or at least most of what people thought needed to be fixed, was fixed. Now, his video isn't that long, so I'm going to try not to make this video too long, but I do have some things pulled up that I want to talk about as well that are directly related to this, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Hey guys, today I want to talk about how I'm feeling great because I was right about Mythic Plus, brother. I uploaded a couple of videos talking about how the state right now of Mythic Plus sucks. And Blizzard agrees with me because just hours after I uploaded my second video talking about the topic, they did exactly what I said they should do in the video. I said they should reduce the key level to get Gilded Crest because you...
Now, real quick, I know I'm interrupting him. I just want to point something out. He said just hours after, right? So he uploaded. This is the one that he's talking about.
Hey
now, I've watched this. I didn't do a video about it, but I did watch this. This was uploaded. Oh, YouTube, will you not show me the actual time? It won't. Oh, okay, well, whatever. This was uploaded yesterday. Actually, you know what? Hang on. I know how I can find. All right, here we go. 7:13 is when I watched it, at the very least, which I'm pretty sure wasn't too long after it was uploaded. But so he uploaded this one about 7:13, or at least that's when I saw it. This is the post. It was made 17 hours ago at 1:50 p.m. Yesterday. So if we do math, about 6 hours or so after I saw the video. Somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah. They're actually finally listening. We'll see how long it lasts.
And they should reduce it to at least 8, but better yet to 7. They did reduce it to 8 because the 8 key was a dead key. So
it was.
Did agree with
so was 7.
This was a necessary change.
So was 7. 7 was a completely dead key. If you had a 7, you were better off just not doing it, just because I like how terrible it was. Or no, I think that was 8 that I'm thinking of. Yeah, because if you had an 8, you might as well have dropped it down to a 7. I think that's what it was. Something like that.
So I feel great, I feel vindicated because there were not a lot of people, the majority of the people agree with me, but there was a couple of individuals that said that the problem was not the system, but that I personally sucked. And this was not about me. I am not saying I am good, I am not saying I am bad. It doesn't matter if I am good or bad. It matters the system. The system is what matters. And there was clearly something wrong with the system, and Blizzard is addressing it. Now, do I think this will be enough to fix every problem that Mythic Plus is having right now?
Real quick, I want to point out, he said that it doesn't matter whether or not he's good or bad. It matters whether or not the system is good or bad. And he is absolutely 110% correct here. So I come from Final Fantasy XIV primarily. And in that game, the balancing is significantly different than World of Warcraft because every class doesn't have like 3 or 4 different specs, right? Or whatever. However, it is very, very, very easy to get carried in that game. Whether it is dungeons, whether it is 24-man raids, it doesn't really matter. It's pretty easy to get carried. Even some of the harder content in the game, like the extremes, the extreme trials, the ultimate trials, even those, maybe not ultimate necessarily. Ultimate's actually pretty difficult. You really can't carry an ultimate, but like extremes and whatnot. After like the first week, when a lot of the like top tier players and like hardcore players have their gear and everything, bro, getting fucking carried in even extreme trials is like one of the most trivial things in the world. And in dungeons, like if you're a warrior or a paladin, the two tanks, if you're one of those classes, a lot of the dungeons you could just fucking solo entirely. And there are instances where the healer literally doesn't have to heal at all because the tanks can just carry that fucking hard. Now that's an entirely different topic about like balance and whatnot, and I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, no, it's definitely about the classes, or sorry, not the classes. It's definitely about whether or not the content is good or not. Because if the content is really good, if it's well balanced, well structured, and well done, no matter who you invite to your group, you will be able to complete it. Is what I'm getting at, right? That's why like tanks can carry, technically even healers. Healers, you could have a bad tank, but if you have an extraordinary healer, the healer can fucking carry you sometimes. Um, DPS kind of can. It depends on a few factors, but for the most part, DPS can't solo carry a dungeon. But they definitely can help. So yeah, if the balancing for a dungeon or whatever is bad, it doesn't matter whether or not you have a good tank, a good healer, a good DPS, blah 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 blah. None of that fucking shit will matter because it just you won't be able to complete it, right? And something he was talking about in a previous video, and I know someone's gonna say it. They're gonna pull up the fact that his first video on Mythic Plus, he said that he can do like he could smash a +10 and blah 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 blah. And oh, you totally made it about whether or not you're good or not. Blah 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 blah. They're missing the entire point. Well, like yes, technically they're correct, but they're also technically wrong.
Probably not. A step in the right direction though, and a step that tells me that Blizzard knows that something is happening. So that gives me hope that they will keep addressing this. And they are also nerfing some stuff in some dungeons, so some dungeons will be easier to complete, which is part of the thing. I don't want them really. My complaint is not that the dungeons are too hard. I do enjoy the dungeons, but maybe they do need to balance things out because there are keys that at the same exact level at +7, one dungeon is really hard and one dungeon is easy, so they need to balance that out, right? But talking about
Yes,
the whole system,
that needs to be fixed and balanced
like
properly.
for them to drop the you need for the mid-track gear on the wall, you need a +10, but you also need a +10 for the portal. So reduce that to the 9 because now the 9 is the same as an 8, which both get gilded, but there is not something unique about them. They are the same. So, and now the 10 gives you two things, which is the portal and the mid-track gear. So reduce the mid-track gear to 9, and now you get a nice ladder, right? In +7 you get the Keystone Master. When you time everything at +7 you get 2k rating and you get the mount. Then at +8 you get gilded. Then at +9 you get the mid-track, and at +10 you get the portal. So it will be a nice ladder where everything is cool, and that will address a lot of things. Again, would that be perfect? Probably not, but it is a step in the right direction. It makes me think that Blizzard is taking a look at all of this, and they know that there is something happening with Mythic Plus. It was still a little slow on the trigger. It was like the whole community, everywhere you go, in YouTube, in Reddit, in Twitter, people are talking about this. Everyone that actively plays the game at any level in Mythic Plus knows that there is something wrong. So yes, they identify the problem, they address it the way we wanted for them to address it, but I hope they are still they still take more steps in the future about all of this. And you can see in the comments, look, this person agrees with me. Now only add me track to 9s, so this key level won't be dead and we are back. This person is totally right because they agree with me, so that is fine. This person says, looks like someone from Blizzard started to play the game finally. Yes, brother, because we are, what, in the 4th week after the season started. You have to know if you play the game that something is fishy in here, right? You seasons.
Oh shit, I accidentally paused. Hang on.
Season started. You have to know
Sorry about
if
that. I
you
meant to
play
pause
the
the
game that something
video.
is fishy in here, right?
I'm sorry. This comment's really funny because I don't remember if it was my previous video on World of Warcraft or what, but I know the video that I covered from Jazzerus talking about Path of Exile and the differences of like how come Path of Exile feels so good, how come Path of Exile is so well balanced, etc., etc., etc. I said that that's because GGG, all of them, including the CEO, play Path of Exile. They actually play their own game, right? And I said something to the effect of like, if the best way to tell whether or not a game is good is whether or not the developers play their own game, because developers who play their own game, if you see a developer who plays their own game, it means that they themselves really enjoy playing this game, which is exactly what you want from the developers. You want them to be able to enjoy playing the game that they are creating, because by them playing it, they not only do they get to see all the feedback from content creators, from the players, etc., but they get to experience those same things that all of them are giving feedback on, right? So if someone says that the Necrotic Wake, if someone says that the Necrotic Wake is too hard because there's too much, there's just a little bit too much damage going out for the healers to be able to handle, or things have just a little bit too much health, it needs to be like nerfed a little bit to actually make it so we can kill things in a reasonable amount of time, etc., right? When people say that things, if the developers are actually playing the game alongside them, then they will be able to go into those dungeons, experience it with the other players that are actually playing the dungeon or playing the game, and be like, huh, actually they're kind of right. This is taking maybe a little bit too long to actually do. The damage going out does feel a little bit maybe maybe a little bit too high. Not like incredibly so, but like a little bit too high. So maybe we will tone that back just a little bit. See how it's sitting, right? So you want developers to actually play the game that they are developing, because not only does it show that they're passionate and that they love this game that they are working on, but it shows that they are able to see the problems that players are talking about.
Something is not feeling the same as previous seasons. So if you play the game, So someone at Blizzard started playing the game and they realized that the system is screwed. By the way, this is another comment that I haven't made in my videos, but the community is expressing this a lot. Lessen the +7 affix. I don't know if it is necessarily to 10 seconds, to 5 seconds, to 7 seconds, to 8 seconds, but this is a sentiment that is prevalent in the community, that the affix for that you start getting at +7, that makes it that every time you die, instead of taking 5 seconds, you take 15 seconds to the time.
That's pretty big.
That a wipe is over 1 minute, because it is 1 minute and 15 seconds if all 5 die, which is insane. And these dungeons have a tight timer. That is something else they can address to make it more manageable. Maybe leave the difficulty as it is, but give us a little more time, or decrease this affix that is screwing a lot of people. In here, I don't know the exact answer, but I know that the community is having problems with this affix specifically, so maybe Blizzard should take a look at that. And yes, the timers are a little tight. I have time dungeons where we don't wipe, we have a couple of deaths, but nothing over 5 deaths, like maybe 2-3 deaths, and we time the dungeon like with 5 seconds on the clock because the timer is really tight. So
yeah, so I wanna just pull something up real quick. Hang on. All right, so this is the timer for all of these, right? You can see most of them are under 20 minutes. There's only 1, 2, 3 that are above 20 minutes for +3. Now, I don't have the game, so I don't know how like how it scales up beyond +3. I assume since it doesn't have anything above +3 that it doesn't decrease anymore. However, as you can see here, right? So if we go with this 18-minute, right? Because that's 3 of them, right? 18 minutes. You have one wipe that's 1 minute 15 seconds off, right? So 18 minus 1.5. So that is already 16.5 minutes left, right? Now you also have to remove some time for actual travel, right? So let's say a minute. Let's say you wiped to the first boss and it takes you a minute to get there. Well, now you're already down to 15.5 minutes, right? And now you have to make that run back, so you have to minus another minute off. So now you're down to 14.5 minutes, right? So now you have 14.5 minutes to complete the entire dungeon. The entire dungeon. Okay. And let's just say it takes a minute to get to each boss. Let's say there's 3 bosses, right? So we'll minus another 2 minutes just for, the run to each boss, right? So now you're down to 12.5 minutes to clear trash, travel, etc., or clear trash and kill a boss, right? So, and each time you die, that's another 15 seconds for each person that dies, right? So, like this is an extremely tight timer, and like there's a lot of people that like you wipe once, they're just going to immediately fucking leave. And as I said in a previous video, if a healer or tank leave, the dungeon is dead. The run is dead.
maybe that is something they can take a look at. Again, I don't want the game mode to be free, but I want it to be doable, because the problem right now is that for a lot of people, it doesn't feel doable. It is hard to get into groups, and once you get into groups, they fall apart really easily, or it is hard to time keys. So it is hard to get the gear, it is hard to get the crest. Again, happy they are addressing huge W for Blizzard. I am really happy about this because it was also one of the things I said they should do. But I don't think the job is over yet. They still have to do more stuff in here. And I hope they don't go the route, oh, we can fix this, doing this, and this. But we'll do it when Season 2 comes. And then Season 2 will be awesome. But what happens about this season? Fix it now. Because if you don't address a lot of stuff now, there will be a lot of people that won't come back for the second season. And you have to address that now, unless the second season is so awesome that by word of mouth everybody comes back. But that is a long shot. So happy this is happening, hoping that they continue doing it, that they don't save all the cool changes for Season 2. And yes, guys, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. What else should they do? Should they address the +7 affix that shapes up a lot of the time? Should they balance the difficulties? Should they balance the classes so the super classes get invited? What else can they do to improve the system? Should they get the mid-track vault to the +9, or it is fine at a +10? Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I am glad I was right about all of this. Guys, thanks for being here. Remember to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. Help me out, my dude. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. God bless you. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.
That's right, brother. So, I just want to pull something else up real quick, and it is this. This is what this links to. So something I want to point out here is this right here, right? Because it actually has some developer notes. So this right here, now I don't know exactly what all these buffs and whatnot give specifically, but the fact that they're increasing and decreasing amounts is important. So right here it says, we've been closely monitoring the impact of the bonuses given by Xal'atath's bargain affixes, and we are increasing the overall power level on players. We will continue to monitor the effectiveness of these buffs as well as the challenges these affixes present. So let me pull up what this actually does real quick. So this right here is, I believe, what they are referencing with this Xal'atath's bargain Voidbound. So basically, what this does is it summons a void emissary that gives all the enemies this, which reduces their damage taken, and it stacks. And then when you kill them, you get this buff. Now for 30 seconds instead of 20. Which gives you a 20% cooldown reduction and 10% healing taken, right? So healing received. So not only are healers going to have an easier time in the higher levels of Mythic Dungeons, but now everyone is going to have an easier time. There's going to be more damage being pumped out, more healing being pumped out. It means, and the fact that this lasts for 30 seconds means it's probably going to last more than one encounter. Right, and this happens. Does it say? No. So it's just while in combat, he does this. So this is huge. Not like massive huge, but like it's huge. It's good. It's an extra 10 seconds of some pretty significant cooldown reduction. 20% cuts your cooldowns by a fifth. That's huge. So like a what would it be? I'm trying to think of like a good example. So let's say you have a cooldown that's 50 seconds. This means that that cooldown will be 40 seconds for 30 seconds, right? So if you time this right, you might be able to get it off twice before the buff actually wears off, right? Another one, let's just pull up the calculator real quick. Another one would be like if you have something that's 10 seconds, right? Minus 2 seconds off of it, that means it's 8 seconds. That means you can do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times now instead of 3 times. That's an extra 2 rotations that you get with it, right? That's pretty fucking massive, right? And then the other one is Xal'atath's Guile. Now increases the HP by 10% instead of 20%. Considering how high those health pools can get, this is pretty fucking big. This is going to drastically reduce not only the time it takes to kill things on its own, but it's going to make it significant. It's going to make parties a lot less likely to actually wipe because things will be dying a lot faster, on top of the fact that you're going to be dishing out more damage from Xal'atath's bargain, right? Now, down here, this is going to come with the weekly maintenance on October 15th in 4 days. This is why I brought up the Necrotic Wake, right? So, Skeletal Monstrosity enemy forces contributions increased by 20%. I don't know how much they did before, but this increase is a fifth of whatever it was increased, and then the periodic damage is reduced by a quarter. So if the periodic damage was dealing, I don't know, let's say 1,000 damage, now it's only dealing 750. You combine this with the 10% increased healing, with the fact that things are just going to die faster. You're going to be able to get out of combat, be able to rest, get that health back a lot faster, a lot easier, right? You now have the Bloody Javelins no longer stacking. You have more health being reduced, more damage being reduced, this time by 30%. This is massive. 30%? Are you kidding me? Like, a 30% drop in anything or increase in anything is always a very significant amount, right? Down here in the Stone Vault, more health reduced, right? The stun on him lasts twice as long, right? You have more damage reduced. Down here, you have more health reduced. And he has a longer cooldown on one of his abilities. Like, all of these combined with these changes, make it so that the entirety of what's going to happen in these dungeons is just going to be significantly easier. Basically, what Blizzard is trying to do is they're trying to reduce it to a point where the dungeon itself or the dungeons themselves are not inherently very easy, but they're trying to make it so that there's less gatekeeping that's happening because people have to worry less about whether or not one or two deaths are going to fuck over the entire thing. They're trying to make sure that when people go into these things, they feel confident enough in themselves to be able to actually do what they're supposed to do and do what they're meant to do, right? And so that's what these changes are designed for. That's why they aren't that is one reason why they are not changing how the death timer ethics works, or the time reduction from deaths. That's why they're not doing that one, is because they are hoping that with all of these nerfs to health and damage across these dungeons, along with increasing this duration and decreasing health on kind of globally for Xal'atath's Guile, they're hoping that these changes will make it so that the gatekeeping just doesn't happen, right? Now, I'm on the wrong fucking thing.
Think about all of
So Jazz pointed out something about +9s. So my fear is that +9s are going to be a dead key now, because it will depend. I don't know the specifics of how the item level for like Gilded Harbinger chests or crests work. But my fear is that the item rewards you get from +9s will not be significant enough to make it so that you at least need to do a couple of them to get the gear to be able to effectively clear +10s, right? That's my fear. That's my worry, is that that's going to be what happens. If +9s or if +10s do not feel, and here's the thing, I don't think they should require you to have gear from +9 chests. I feel like if you are good enough with a good enough team, you should be able to clear a +10 with +8 gear. However, I do not think that you should be able to clear a +10 with +7 gear, right? That's what I think. Maybe it's a bit controversial. I don't know. Jazz might disagree with me. I don't know. But if +10s do not require +9 gear to effectively clear, then the +9s will just be a dead key. No one is going to want to do them because the reward versus time spent will not be great enough to justify it, right? Everyone will just go to a +8. They will grind out +8s because they'll be both easier and faster to do than a +9. They'll get full +8 gear, and then they'll just go immediately to +10s. Right? Or they'll get a couple pieces from +8 and then get like a bunch of their really good friends, really close buddies, maybe some guild mates to come with them, and then they'll just grind out some +10s, get a couple +10 gear rather than +9, or even filling out their +8 gear, and then they'll just complete +10s that way. If this happens, the gatekeeping won't stop. I'm gonna say it right here, right now. The +10s or the gatekeeping, nothing will change. People will still gatekeep them. All of these nerfs, all of these buffs will mean absolutely fucking nothing, and nothing will happen, right? However, if +9s are actually meaningful, then the gatekeeping, while it will still be present, I suspect will not be as relevant or as harsh as it is currently. So those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions. That's all I have to say for this video. Thank you all for coming to my corner. I have been the DM. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video, hit dislike, leave a comment, let me know why, and I will see you all next time. I have a few more things I want to talk about.